You can be surrounded by people and still be in danger. Imagine a 75-year-old grandmother living in a busy house. The television is always on, phones are always in people's hands, and there is never a quiet moment. But for her, real conversation is rare. No one asks her what she is thinking. No one sits down long enough to hear her stories all the way to the end. On the outside, she is not alone, but inside, she feels invisible. What if one of the most dangerous things hurting your heart and your brain after 60 is not sugar, not cholesterol, but how alone you feel, even in a full house? Doctors now know that deep, ongoing loneliness and social isolation can increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, and memory loss. Some research suggests that severe social isolation can be as harmful to your health as smoking many cigarettes a day. In this video, we will talk about why feeling, quote, lonely but not alone matters so much, how it affects your body and your mind, and simple steps you can start this week to reconnect, even if you are shy, tired, or not very mobile anymore. For many older adults, this story feels painfully familiar. Retirement takes away coworkers and daily chats. Close friends move away or pass away. Children are loving but busy and live in other cities. You may share a roof with family members, but everyone eats at different times, watches different screens, and rushes through their own schedule. On paper, you are with people, yet your heart feels like it is on an island. Very often, elders say things like, "I am fine, I do not want to bother anyone," or "Other people have it worse than me." Loneliness is treated as a private weakness instead of a serious health risk. The result is that many seniors hide their feelings, and the damage happens quietly in the background, year after year. Before we talk about what to do, we need to understand what loneliness is actually doing inside your body. Scientists now make an important distinction. Social isolation means having very few contacts or relationships. Loneliness is the painful feeling that your connections are not deep, not safe, or not enough, even if you technically live with others. You can sit in a crowded room and still feel extremely lonely. When you feel chronically lonely, your body switches into a long-term stress state. Stress hormones rise, your heart beats faster and harder than it needs to, blood pressure creeps up, sleep becomes lighter and more broken. Inflammation, which is a kind of chemical irritation throughout the body, goes up. Your immune system weakens, so it's harder to fight off infections and to heal from illness. Over years, this constant pressure can damage blood vessels, increase the risk of heart attack and stroke, and make many chronic conditions worse. Loneliness also changes behavior in small but powerful ways. People who feel alone are more likely to move less, snack more, and spend long hours sitting in front of a television or computer just to fill time. Some begin to smoke more or drink more alcohol to numb the emptiness. All of these patterns slowly push blood pressure, blood sugar, and body weight in the wrong direction. Your heart does not know that the cause is loneliness. It only feels the strain. The brain is just as sensitive. Your brain is a social organ. It is built to read faces, listen to voices, tell stories, argue gently, laugh, remember names, and respond to other human beings. All of these actions are brain exercise. They keep many different regions of the brain firing and working together. When you go long periods without conversation, without being needed, without roles to play in other people's lives, large parts of this social network in the brain are underused. Over time, this lack of mental and social activity can make it easier for memory problems and thinking problems to appear. Studies of older adults show that people who are very isolated have a higher risk of cognitive decline and different forms of dementia. That doesn't mean that if you feel lonely, you are guaranteed to develop dementia. It does mean that your brain is working harder than it should under a heavy emotional load. The hopeful side of this story is that the opposite is also true. People who stay socially engaged, who talk, volunteer, join groups, or keep learning new things often show slower decline and sometimes delay the onset of serious memory problems by several years. How can you tell when loneliness has become more than just a sad afternoon and has turned into a health warning? Answer these questions honestly in your own mind. How many days in a typical week do you go without any real conversation, where you can speak openly about your thoughts and feelings? When something good or bad happens, do you feel that you have no one you can comfortably call? Do you often eat all your meals alone in front of a screen? Do you stay in bed late because you feel there is no real reason to get up early? Do you feel more like a burden than a valuable part of your family or community? If several of these feel true most of the time, then your loneliness is no longer just an emotion. It has become a health signal, just like high blood pressure or high blood sugar. The good news is that there are steps you can take at different levels, even if your energy, money, or mobility are limited. Think of your connections as 3 layers. The first layer is small, daily moments. These are very brief contacts that tell your nervous system, I still exist for other people. You can create a simple 3-minute rule. Every day, spend at least 3 minutes in a real exchange with another person. It could be a neighbor, the person at the grocery store, someone at your place of worship, or a friend on the telephone. Ask one genuine question and truly listen to the answer. If you are able to walk outside, combine this with a short stroll and greet familiar faces along your route. The second layer is removing hidden barriers that are cutting you off. Many older adults withdraw not because they want to be alone, but because it's hard to hear, hard to see, or painful to move. If you find yourself avoiding gatherings because you can't follow conversation, consider getting your hearing checked. Modern hearing aids can make social life far less exhausting. If your vision is clouded, speak with an eye specialist. If depression, anxiety, or chronic pain are stealing your desire to go out, tell your doctor or a mental health professional. These are medical conditions, not personal failures, and treatment can reopen doors to connection. The third layer is community. This is where you find regular groups or roles that give structure and meaning to your week. Depending on your interests and your body, that might be a senior center, a gentle exercise or balance class, a religious group, a book club, a gardening group, or a volunteer role at a library, hospital, or charity. If you have difficulty leaving home, online groups, video calls, or telephone circles can help, but it's best if they support in-person contact rather than completely replace it. Let's bring this together. First, loneliness is not just feeling sad. For older adults, it is a real medical risk factor that can damage the heart and the brain if it continues for years. Second, your body responds to social isolation with higher stress, higher inflammation, worse sleep, and less healthy habits, all of which slowly erode your health. Third, you do not need to become an extrovert or the life of the party to protect yourself. A few small, consistent connections, day after day, can begin to reverse the trend. Your next step can be very small, but very real. In the next 48 hours, choose one active connection. Call an old friend. Invite someone for a short walk. Join a group you've been thinking about for months. Or simply tell a family member, I would like us to eat dinner together at the table tonight. These actions may feel small, but your heart and your brain will feel them. If this message spoke to you, I invite you to stay and build a community here where no one has to age alone. Subscribe and join me for more science-based, compassionate guidance on staying healthy in body and in spirit as you grow older.